Simon, without patting ourselves in the back, about a year ago when you and I were in Qatar, we decided this is no ordinary World Cup. It's a winter World Cup for a start, and it's also in the Middle East. And should it be in a country like Qatar? Well, it was. And it came and went without incident, and it's looked upon as a major success as an event. And that partly has to do with one of the rules they introduced very close to the start of the tournament, Simon, was an alcohol ban at stadiums. The Qataris decided, no, the fans, you will not be able to drink at stadiums. And I remember that brought on a bit of a pile-on from some England fans who were heading to Qatar, who got in touch with this show and said, we're not having that. Yeah. Well, whether they were having it or not, that's what happened, and that's what they got. And it was deemed a success. So much so, this was the first show to hear about this when I went out early and I spoke to the chief executive of the Qatar World Cup, Nasser Al-Khatta.
I mean, like any other country in the world, yes, Qatar, alcohol is available. However, Qatar being a conservative country, it's not as readily available as, let's say, London or Paris. So it's available. We're creating certain destinations and zones for people to be, enjoying themselves, being able to have a drink if they don't want to be in a hotel setting. And look, it's going to be fine. All the beaches in all the hotels here, there's nice places where people hang out, swim, they can have a drink. And like I said, the fan zones that are going to be here, it's going to be something interesting and enjoyable for the fans. I can tell you that much.
And he was right. It was both. It was interesting and enjoyable. Yep. No incidents to speak of at the stadiums. Certainly no alcohol-related incidents because there was no alcohol. Now it seems that an element of Euro 2024 next summer is about to go down the same route. The head of Gelsenkirchen Police, a man called Peter Both, he's in charge of the security operation for England's first match against Serbia in Gelsenkirchen, is saying, same thing, alcohol banned in and around the stadium when England take on Serbia in their opening match at the Euros in Germany. What do you think, Simon? Is that workable? Do you think that fans will greet that with the same way they had to greet the news in Qatar, that here's the thing, you're not going to be able to drink at the Euros, and get that through your heads before you turn up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to imagine in my mind's eye how much trouble have we had at World Cups in the past. I mean, yes, I don't have any aversion to banning alcohol for inside stadiums. I don't have any. I'm not motivated by being there or not being there. But I'm also trying to look at what ill we're fixing in World Cups.
This is staving off any problems that may or may not appear on the horizon.
I know.
You remember what happened in France with England fans in the Euros? You remember how it happened up the road in the final of the Euros when they played England?
Is that as a result? Italy. Is that as a result of drinking inside the stadium, or is it as a result of continue to drink outside of the stadium, which they'll still be able to do?
No, it's going to be banned outside the stadium, in the perimeter areas of the stadium in Gelsenkirchen.
But people will just go to other places before they get to those areas, drink as much as they want, and get to those spaces.
But they didn't do that in Qatar.
Well, because Qatar is a very different dynamic. First of all, culturally, there's not a big availability of alcohol, and you have to go to certain environments.
You remember in Doha, they could drink before they left their hotels. They could drink before they left their bases, and then head to the stadiums.
Absolutely.
And they didn't.
I'm not arguing for or against it. I'm not playing devil's advocate. I'm trying to position it as, have we seen a huge problem in World Cup qualifiers, World Cup tournaments where people have drunk inside stadiums? What wrong are we fixing? Because if we're fixing a wrong where we've been seeing constant disorder inside stadiums because of alcohol being served in stadiums, I understand it. I'm actually not bothered about it either which way. I think there is no doubt an argument that if people aren't drinking inside stadiums, you'll take an element of bad behaviour out. How much bad behaviour we're fixing. If we believe, and I do hope that this is extended to all of the nations and not just ours, because I would hate to think that it's our nation that's the only nation that's having some sort of alcohol ban put on it, because I think everyone's capable, all of the European countries are capable of having a fringe representation that behave badly, irrespective of alcohol or with alcohol. So I would be...
When the other two nations play each other in England's group, the same thing would apply.
Okay.
One would think.
Well, you'd like to think that there has to be... I mean, I'm assuming that this is a regime that's going to be brought in for the entire tournament. Otherwise, what's the point of it?
At the moment, the sole voice in this is the head of Gelsenkirchen Police, Peter Both, who's taken it upon himself as the head of security operations for the specific match, England-Serbia, he's saying, let's get off to a good start and have an alcohol ban in and around the stadium, in it and outside it, in the perimeter area.
But why? Why is he taking that stance and other areas? There are going to be other games, aren't there? I mean, why is it suddenly? Why has England-Serbia been picked as the game that is being designated as an alcohol-free zone?
It might well be that other matches will follow suit. This is the first one.
So I hope so. My point is in this question is if this is going to be the way forward, I'm not bothered about whether football. I don't go to a football match.
You don't want England singled out because it's England. That's what you're saying.
Of course, in this conversation, I don't. But also, if we're going to make a directive, make the directive.
Yeah.
If I don't need to go to a football stadium to drink, I go to a football stadium to watch a football match. I don't go to wave a rainbow flag. I don't go to drink drinks. They're nice things to have if they're there. I certainly can live without them if they're not. But I go to watch 90 minutes of football and go home and enjoy the rest of my afternoon talking about what I've just watched. So I don't have any issue with it whatsoever surrounding the blanket banning of alcohol inside stadiums. There was an element of hypocrisy because we were in lounges in Qatar where they were serving alcohol, so we didn't get to suffer from that if we chose to participate.
Well, I certainly wasn't drinking.
No, you weren't.
To be
Obviously,
fair to you, nor were you.
No.
I think if they decided this is the way to go for other matches,
I wouldn't be an objector to it.
You're right.
I would be. If the Germans have decided that this tournament and the facilities around all stadiums is alcohol free, you wouldn't hear me going, I think that's wrong.
No.
I would be, okay, fair enough. If we believe that football stadiums should be dry in major tournaments and we want these tournaments to go off without that added hiccup,
right,
then it's a blanket across the board.
Yeah. It undoubtedly worked in Qatar. Undoubtedly.
Jim, I think what also undoubtedly worked was, if you go into Middle Eastern countries and you muck about, there's no consequences like that in terms of there are significant consequences. The Qatari police didn't muck about. They don't muck about. They don't have the same attitude. Even when you go to certain parts of Spain, you see it. The Guardia Civil ask a question with the truncheon first.
Yeah, it was true. I'll put it out there. England fans listening this morning, Scotland fans, of course, you're heading out there as well. We hope the Welsh will be there too. But if it does come about that you can't drink either in or around stadiums for the duration of the Euros, would you be okay with that? Would you be up for it? Would you concede that, what worked in Qatar will probably work in Germany? 03717 223344 81089 12 noon.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.